Giving you the information you need, this is Inside the News. Here's Guy Wehman, Ben Brunson, and Frank Vernuccio.
This is a bonus segment here on Wehman, Brunson, and Vernuccio. We're going to talk about Artemis 2. And so you're watching this on YouTube, and we're going to supply this to our radio affiliates as a little sub so that they can air it if they wish on their morning shows or whatever. But we are all vested in Artemis. We love NASA. We love what all this technology is going to do. Ben will be able to watch the launch in real time because all he has to do is look to the east. It'll be at dinner time on Wednesday, April the 1st. And so it should be a fantastic view. All right, we're going to start with you, Ben, because you're right there, and then we'll get some background from Frank.
Well, look, it's interesting to me that what motivated the big push to go to the moon in the 60s was the global competition between the U.S. and the Soviet Union. John F. Kennedy was not shy about that when he talked about funding what became ultimately the Apollo program. And the same thing is repeating to a large extent here. It's now the competition between the U.S. and China. And frankly, that's a good thing because that is when we perform at our best.
Frank, they're going to circle the Earth, and then they're going to shoot to the moon on a translunar injection, I think it's called, a TLI, and then they're going to slingshot back to Earth, and that was developed during Apollo 13 when they said, well, hey, why don't we just slingshot ourselves back and use the gravitational pull to do that? But this is groundbreaking, Artemis 2, Frank.
Yeah, humans will go farther into space than we ever have before, so it's groundbreaking in that sense. And the amazing thing about this is that the philosophy of the Artemis program to the moon is what in many ways Apollo should have done. Apollo did a great number of scientific experiments, tested out the equipment and all that, but it never really left a permanent base on the moon. With Artemis, the goal is to have a permanent human habitation on the surface of the moon. It's going to be a change in human history in the same way that fire was a change in human history or exploring the new world was. We are expanding humanity's reach, humanity's survival to the stars. This is only the beginning, and hopefully it leads to Mars and beyond.
Yeah, Artemis 3, they're going to actually land on the moon and then start doing this because the ultimate goal, I believe, is Mars, isn't it?
It is indeed. That has been the focus for a long time. Mars is a planet that possibly, given a long period of time, maybe several hundred, if not several thousand years, can be terraformed and form a new permanent habitation for humanity. James Oberg wrote a book on the technology to do that, and sometime within possibly our grandchildren's lifetime, we'll see the start of that.
Wow. A final thought on Artemis 2, Mr. Ben.
Yeah, look, I think man's exploration of space is the next step for us. And I'm happy to see this country leading the way. It is a focus, of course, of Elon Musk and what he's doing at SpaceX. And he has revolutionized the economics to make it a lot more favorable to embark on these types of exploratory journeys. So power, we've had 6 decades of technological development, and we're about to see them put to good use in the Artemis project.
One thing that I would like to add to that is that this is a tremendous time for the young people of this nation. I remember back in the 60s, being in middle school and high school and all, watching Apollo and going on the moon. This should stimulate the young minds with STEM, science, as they watch this going up, because this is fascinating. One of the biggest rockets we've sent up there. And that's just a personal note there, but I think you both can kind of agree and herald that as well, right, Frank?
It is both good for the country financially in terms of American technology getting a boost. It is good to give spirit to the young people who realize that there's a great future ahead. Academia is all about going down. It's all about decrying the United States and Western civilization. This showcases what Western civilization, particularly the United States, can and will do.
Last word, Ben.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I went to Camp Pinnacle in North Carolina. A lot of Floridians went there. My older brother had gone before me. when I was 8 years old. The one and only time they brought out a TV for a live broadcast was when we landed on the moon. And I will never forget that moment. I know exactly where I was and what I was doing. I was at Camp Pinnacle, and it was quite a moment. So we have more moments like that in our future.
Two moments that stick out in my mind was the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, and then the landing on the moon. And 63 and 69, and those are the two. And Ben, I herald that as well. Hey, thanks, guys. This is little bonus content right here on Wehman, Brunson and Vernuccio Inside the News.